Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Selectmen's meeting of April 7th, 2021. First, we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Guess we'll start with the Town Administrator's Weekly Update.
All right, first couple things are more reminders for the board and the public. So we do have the job openings that we're still advertising for the transfer station, code enforcement officer, and land use. They just hit the newspapers, so the second two just hit the papers today, so we're hoping to get some input. We have gotten, I think, one application in so far. Transfer station is just not showing a lot of interest yet. We've put it out, on social media, the website, the one paper that's running. Bob's trying to spread the word as well, but we're not getting a lot of interest in that, so hoping that changes. Portland Glass was in on Friday. He went around and reviewed all of the windows, measured and took a count, said that we should see something from him by the end of next week. And even though we don't know that that's going to be part of the building maintenance project because it was brought up, remember at that meeting, we said that we'd present it. A reminder that the deadline for nomination papers is Friday the 9th. We still do have papers out for a couple of positions, so if anybody's looking to turn them in, they've got until 4 o'clock on Friday. We have our Iron Tales public hearing tomorrow, so this is for the liquor license. I have gotten the call log that I'll forward you guys. I might have already, but I got a report from the fire chief, report from Sivany. Anything else you want before tomorrow night? Do you plan on zooming from here, home? What are we thinking?
Home.
Okay.
That's at 6 o'clock?
I think we did that one 6:30 because it was 6:30.
6.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Kim, are you gonna be here or? Not sure yet.
Not sure. I might come in, though.
All right, so anything else that you want for tomorrow night? So we'll put that, whatever action you take on next week's agenda, so. Just a FYI more for the public, because I know the board has been updated at this point. The fire department has opened up a substation to the York County Sheriff's Department. It's a sealed room that is monitored and alarmed for our local deputy to be able to utilize an office space, if you will, save him from having to go all the way to Alfred to print reports and turn things in. So there's just a small office space there for him. So if you see his vehicle, he may be there at the substation. The Kennebunk Shelter is offering a free rabies clinic for dogs on Saturday, April 24th from 9 to 12. That's the Animal Welfare Society. Again, it's free for 3 hours, dogs only, and must be on a leash. I forwarded you an email that I just wanted to go on the record of making sure you saw. So remember the letter that we sent for Michael Bean for the letter saying that of intent, which I thought was a well-written letter for, that covered what our intention was. He emailed me and said that, "Good morning, Jen. The verbiage of your letter intent does not allow me to sign with a precast company. I understand if you have to vote on it. Until I can sign with a precaster, we have no lock-in price on the bridge." So I replied and I said, I was under the impression that you knew that verbiage would be in there. Do you have a draft that might work for you that I can ask for the board to review? It wouldn't need to clearly say we were bound by it until vote, but certainly we would take a look at it. And his response was, no problem, we'll wait and see what transpires. So another reason to have that possible, few $1,000s that we talked about, because at this point, apparently the letter isn't going to be sufficient for him to commit to. But I don't know what it could have said, differently, really.
Couldn't. We can't lock in until the town tells us we can do it.
It really didn't make any sense why we did it in the first place.
No.
I can understand.
Well, he asked us to, so.
Yeah.
Because when you make a commitment, there should be some
Yeah.
sort of contract behind
Yeah.
it, saying you're
This
gonna
is a
pay for
commitment,
it.
yeah, this was a commitment with an out.
Yeah.
So, but that's all we can do.
We just have to
We intend to do it if the town allows us, so.
I want to have a brief conversation about the summer transfer station permits. We did have a resident, reach out that had some concerns, and I know that Kim has spoken to her. And I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page on how these permits are handled and who they pertain to and who they don't, because I think the property owner, and I could be wrong, might not understand directly, but she may wish to come before you. First of all, this procedure has been in place for many years. This is nothing that Mr. Mann has changed. But essentially, taxpayers, people that register their vehicles in town, people that are year-round residents, registered to vote, they all get a transfer station sticker when they register their vehicle. There's no cost to it. People that own second homes, or maybe even their only home, and they rent it out for a week here or a month there, they are required, if their renter wants to use the transfer station, to pay a $25 fee. They get like a card hanger, like your plastic cards, and they can leave it at the cottage, and it says, for 10 San Page Road, and the renter can just take it back and forth. So this renter isn't registering their vehicles here, they're not registering, anything here, they're not doing their voter registration, they're not paying taxes in any way towards the town of Acton. We have some real estate companies that oversee some of these, and they just simply add it into the price of the rental. And it's just one card that they can use for the whole calendar year, and they can just swap it in and out. The alternative to that is that the property owner could go and take the trash if they wanted to. Kim might want to elaborate, but she essentially has concerns with why she feels like she's being double taxed if she has to buy this for her renters. My response is, well, have your renter pay for it. But it's not like your renters, Ed, do you know what I mean, who are registered to vote and pay their car excise here, they're year-round
Yeah, they
residents.
live here.
Right.
These people are coming in for a week,
Year-round.
using the transfer station.
Well,
And Bob has no concerns, just so you know, the way it is now.
She just felt that, since she pays taxes on 2 different places, why couldn't she have a dump sticker for
Well,
that
she
one?
can
This
have-
is, this is what,
But she's not using the transfer station. She can have one for every car she owns, whether she has 1 property or 5. It's designed for her trash. She could go pick up their trash.
the only issue, so if you get that special dump sticker, which makes sense, because if you have somebody comes in and rents for a week, you're not gonna give them a dump sticker to go up, because next thing you know, that person could be coming up and dumping their trash the rest of the summer on that dump sticker.
Right, and it says no household, it's household trash only, and that's what it's
So-
designed for.
And so it makes it so multiple people can use that same sticker, right?
It's a card,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you
like
leave it
1
at
week,
the
the
cottage and,
yeah.
I look at it like it's the perks of renting your place out. If you're only talking $25, you're letting other people, including yourself, dump, because if that person has a dumpster, she could also dump, and then she's got somebody doubling up. You know what I'm saying? In theory.
Right.
Okay, and if you have, say, a house there where you're renting the top half of your cabin or whatever, now you're doubling up on the dump sticker, the family, so it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. It's worked for years. And, the dump stickers we get that go on your windshield, or transfer station stickers, is meant for the resident, the year-round resident.
The one that pays the
These
taxes
are
or
for-
registration and,
For weekly rentals or whatever they may be, so, over and above.
and I was under the impression, when I first talked to her and stuff, I was thinking it was $25 like per week. But it's, as
No,
I
I
talked
mean,
with
like-
Jennifer, it's for the,
yeah, we've never
So-
even broken it down by renter, you know what I mean? Which
For the
board-
property, not the.
Right.
It's for the
just for the
property, right, so
property, so-
when like Elias Thomas comes in and gives me
Yeah.
a list of places he's gonna rent out, it just says property address and calendar year, so, she could rent it 10 times in one 2021 year, and they're only gonna charge her the $25. Assuming that, when you leave that card, that's her responsibility to make sure that, the key's turned in, that card's turned in, to her as the, the
Right.
rentor.
And, if that's the case, you split that up between how many renters you may have, or whatever. it's
Yeah, what do you have,
$25.
like,
It's pretty good.
you have at least 8 weeks in the summer, 8 good weeks.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know how long
yeah.
they rent it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way it is.
So, I guess
Yep.
take that back to her, see if it's a
Yep.
little more clear. I know there was some discussion about her coming to a possible meeting, but, and I did
I'll
check with
call
Bob.
her and
he
let her
thought
know, and-
was working fine.
Okay.
The quarterly or monthly sheriff's department update, I forwarded you all of the calls for this month. Community police contact is the highest this month, followed with building area break-ins. But you know how we like to review the month of March notable events. Starts with a very unfortunate event in Shapley on Jones Road where they had an unattended death. March 8th, they had another Shapley individual who was arrested on bail conditions. March 13th, they had some catalytic converter thefts in Shapley. March 13th as well, there was a burglary at the transfer station, which I contacted you guys on that weekend for the public. It was some wire, a couple of locks were broke. It was stuffed batteries, there was nothing, we didn't meet the deductible, stuff people had turned in essentially that we were gonna recycle. 25th, Shapley OUI. 30th, the theft in Shapley on Cross Road. And then it's March 30th. A 71-year-old resident of Farmington Hills, Michigan, confessed to his role as a money mule in a wire fraud investigation. The individual facilitated the movement of $70,000, which was stolen from an Acton, Maine resident in April of 2020. The funds were converted to digital currency and thereafter moved throughout various U.S. and foreign-based exchanges. These are all the notable events for March. I emailed you guys and the road committee chair, the bridge report that came in. You saw that? Okay. And that was for, I think it was just one bridge on that one.
Yeah, it was,
Mulch.
Balch. Thank you.
Yes.
And just a reminder, so we have a public hearing Thursday and then we have a public hearing Monday. Monday is for the April 27th, election. So we'll have the.
are we doing that Zoom?
We're doing that Zoom. All public
Okay.
hearings have to be Zoom because
yeah.
you can't control the.
Okay, yeah.
So that one is gonna be at 6 o'clock. That'll be on a Monday. So we'll have the, individual, the petitioner will have the right to speak. And then I've got, school committee and school board, prepared to, answer any questions on those articles.
Okay.
And absentee ballots are available for that election. That's all I have for that.
All right. Well, next, we have warrant and bills. I know I signed.
I did.
think everybody signed, right? So those are all done. I need an approval of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda. I guess we did that together.
You both want to second it?
Did you make a motion?
I did.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? All righty. The minutes of the last meeting, I make a motion to approve those. They were March 30th.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Department head or committee chair updates?
Will Langley, District 1, last week, told you guys about the road postings, we're gonna pull them tonight, so the roads will be unposted for Thursday, and, mostly all the towns around us are already unposted, so either today and tomorrow, everything will be unposted, so.
All righty. Thank you. Anybody else?
So Will, it's okay if I advertise that?
Yeah.
I don't see anything under old business, so we'll move on to new business. A, COVID clinic.
So the fire chief has reached out to me, that, he's setting up a COVID clinic at the fire station. This is, so hello Jennifer, this is the link for people to sign up for the vaccination clinic that will be offered here at the station. It was cut back to 1 day in May currently. They'll be given the Johnson & Johnson, as far as I'm told, so it will be a single dose. An email that went to him. Here's the link that will direct people to scheduling for the piece on May 25th clinic. Be our first time using the scheduling piece, but I've heard that it goes smoothly. Times are all open, ready to be filled. 6 lanes to choose from to keep traffic moving. There's some, just some admin on the bottom. So we're going to get this direct link on the homepage of the website, and see if it's something that people are interested in.
He's got the Johnson & Johnson one.
That's what it says, as far as he knows.
Okay.
I'm right there.
All righty. All right, B, we have a Guzman presentation / transfer station.
So as Scott makes his way up, just a little bit of background on behalf of the transfer station superintendent. Scott will give you a little bit of the background, but I did speak to, Bob Mann. He received the paper copy of this application, he figured about 3 or 4 days ago. He started to kind of look over it. He does, it is something that he thinks, he can support and get behind, but he's got a lot of questions and they haven't had a chance to hook up and answer those yet. There was a budget concern that Scott's gonna talk about as well, and, just the timeframe, because Scott's on here so quickly because the deadline is coming up. But we'll let him tell you a little bit about it and see if it's something that you wanna bring Bob in for more information.
Okay.
Hello. So there's, the main DEP is doing a waste diversion grant for up to $40,000 for local municipalities or local businesses to specifically set up food recycling programs. So this proposal would be to set up a food recycling program at the transfer station. I walked around with Bob and he showed me an area. So part of the proposal would be these blue bins that are on their pallets and they have a flip top lid. They're insulated and there's a drain on them. And so townspeople would essentially have a 5-gallon bucket. They would take their food waste, they bring it in. After they dump into the compactor, they can go, it's right next to that building where we would put the bins. And the 5-gallon bucket would get dumped into there and the lid would be closed. And those same bins would be used as where the composting would happen over behind the salt shed. Mix in the long leaf waste and wood chips. And it would be up to me and my business, Diggers Cooperative is the name of the new compost business that we just started. So our task would be to manage the whole composting facility, or the whole composting program at the dump. So it's up to $40,000 is the grant, but it's 25% contribution by the bidder. So, or the, in this case, it would be in the town of Acton. So the bid would be to purchase these blue bins, which are for the fishing industry. They're insulated big blue pallet bins, and a solar-powered aeration system to aerate those bins and prevent them from becoming anaerobic, which is the primary cause of the smell. So the DEP is most worried about runoff, smell, and animals. So the design that we put together has, it's bear-proof. All of the leachate will go into an underground tank, and then so there won't be any runoff, and it'll all be covered. It'll be under an awning, and the aeration, so there won't go anaerobic. So I talked to Bob, and yeah, we still have a lot more like kinks to work out, but the deadline is April 29th. So we're hoping to sort of like come together for the, he and I will come back for the next meeting and get a little bit better idea of the specifics about the budget and all that. But it would be 25% contribution, and the financials are such that the state of Maine calculates 40% of all of our trash is food waste. So if we can, even the goal for Maine is 5% every 5 years. So if we can reach that 5%, that would save the town. We pay $77.50 a ton in trash. So every ton that we recycle, we save that much. And the projection would be 100 tons. So
What happens to the runoff that's in the tank?
that is a saleable product. So our compost business, we sell compost tea, and that's what that is. So part of the proposal would be a septic pumping tank, a vacuum tank that we pump out of the underground tank, and then that's a product that we sell, as well as the compost. And then there'd be a percentage, or we figure out some agreement where townspeople can come and get high quality finished compost there for free. And then we would be charged with the rest.
Do you have something written up, like a business plan? Like, maybe something we could read through?
Yeah.
Maybe we can make copies and stuff before you
Yeah,
go?
a couple copies. I gave them all to Bob, but he wasn't able to make it, so I printed a couple more.
All right, great.
Is this similar to a company called Mr. Fox?
It's similar. They do windrows, so it's just like the old style, like what I do on my farm. We just have big piles and just turn them. But this would be really like going the extra mile with the runoff, because that's what the DEP is most worried about is rainwater. So this would have zero runoff. And Mr. Fox goes around collecting, Whereas this would make it so that everyone would just be bringing the food waste all to the transfer station where they already go.
Okay. So it sounds like you'd actually be running a small business off the property at the transfer station.
Right.
Okay.
And, well, essentially, we'd be a waste disposal contractor, but we'd use that site to process the waste. But yeah, definitely. Because we are a for-profit business,
Right.
and we have our own site on Garden Road, but that would just be an auxiliary site.
Sounds good.
So the plan from here is for you to discuss in more detail with Bob Mann, and hopefully he'll join you at next week's meeting for, because you said that you needed a letter of
A letter of intent.
a letter of intent, a letter of support. So they're gonna wanna hear, I'm guessing, from Bob Mann first, and have some time to kind of review what you've given him. So we'll put you back on the agenda for next week. But it sounds like you gotta move quickly if that's, and the
Yeah.
liability insurance that we talked about, do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got that today.
Okay.
You're down on Garvin Road now?
Yeah,
Whereabouts, down towards the end, or?
yeah, very end.
Okay.
And I talked to the DEP about the scale that I'm composting at, and they said that I'm definitely within regulation, but if I do go beyond that, then I'll need to have them come out. But I already have a relationship, so it seems like they'll make it easy.
You wanna leave a copy of, I can distribute it to the board tomorrow?
Sure.
I don't want to get your last one. Do you want Cheryl to make a quick copy, or is this your last one?
Have these?
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll scan and email that over to you and put it on next week's agenda.
All right, moving on, poll permit,
Orchard Road.
Orchard Road.
Did we do Orchard Road last week?
Didn't we do a poll
No,
permit?
that was-
No, that was,
One.
If not, we can do it again.
It wasn't even a town road, the last one we did.
I feel like they're coming out of the woodworks, these poll permits, and I just... Some more for notification purposes, is that what we've decided?
This is 75 feet. Sounds like it's right on, it's on Orchard Road, it's all,
okay, I'm gonna,
Speaking of Orchard Road, can we make sure we chat before you leave? Yep. Chat with David and...
Orchard Road, north, 25 feet. Would you like to look at this, Ed?
I'm fine. They're usually straightforward, so.
So do we need to just sign this? We don't need to make a motion, do we?
Yeah, do you need to make a
I'll make a
motion?
motion, we sign the poll permit for Orchard Road.
All right.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? All opposed? All right.
I think those only require, what, one signature?
I don't know.
There's,
Looks like
there's a place
five.
now for three, a 3 or 5, they've changed the form a little bit.
All right, there you go, please. Thank you. All right. Memo from Sheriff King.
So you guys saw this email, this memo, just want to kind of outline it, but I have some additional information, as well that I want to share. So, essentially, it's a letter that the selectmen and all neighboring towns received on March 31st, from the sheriff's department. Without reading it verbatim, basically what it says is that they're going through some staffing challenges, and that they've had 2 retirements, 3 transfers, and a military deployment. With that, they're asking for the town's flexibility. They're asking to periodically, like to reassign your contract deputy for entire shifts to patrol larger areas to include your town to lessen the workload. He goes on to say that the town, he'll ensure that the town is not charged for the time, and, but it's just something that they need to do, and that it's temporary and it should only last 2 to 3 months. Shapley, because we share a contract deputy, I did speak to the contract deputy, and I spoke to the administrator and one of the selectmen in Shapley. They met a day before us, and they had some concerns, and they reached out, so I think this may help, before we get into too much of a discussion. So the administrator in Shapley basically reached out wanting to know if the selectman Shapley wanted to know if you've already implemented the change, you know, when it's gonna happen and what it looks like really for Shapley, and same answer for us. So, It says, "Hi Carla, hope the email finds you well. We have," and this is the exact same thing Tiffany told me just this week. "We have not had to redeploy any deputies from the contract town assignments, and we may not need to do so. The letter was sent out to alert law enforcement partners of our critical staffing levels. We are aware of our contractual obligations, and we will abide by them. We are hiring 2 deputies this Wednesday, and we are in the process of finalizing a contract with the patrol union, which will increase our starting pay, which I believe may stimulate some recruitment efforts. Frankly, I doubt we will ever have to redeploy a contract deputy, but I wanted the option. If there's any hesitation on the part of Shapley Select Board, I can easily assure you that the Acton Shapley deputy will not be redeployed." When I spoke to Tiffany Tuesday, or Tuesday, I guess, he told me that since he's had the contract, he's never been deployed out of this area. He said that he's just never been deployed, and he says the shifts that he works that are fully staffed, and he just didn't feel like it was going to affect him at all, so. And I think that letter helps. I know that I've spoken to a couple of you, and there were some concerns, and we thought there might be concerns from the public.
Right.
But it sounds like it's not going to affect Acton or Shapley at all.
Good.
Good.
So just keep an eye on it and go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, A, B, C, D, E. I guess I'm
We
looking.
want to do public comment first?
Oh, ABCDC. That tells you what my days and weeks have been like.
You're trying to throw me, weren't you?
Yeah.
Do we have any public comments before we go into an executive session?
I don't know how many of you have been able to look at what's up in Acton, but if you've had a chance, or if you haven't had a chance, you need to look at it. For those of you that don't know, Harold Smith runs a program down to the boat, and they had a big presentation down there Monday night. It was pretty impressive what Harold's doing with these kids. Not that, I'm not taking away from any of these other kids, but I guess the reason why it's really brought to my attention is because Caitlin is one of the ones that are down there going into a fire and shutting a valve off on a propane tank while it's in flames. So it's some pretty impressive videos. Some of our own kids have been involved in, and I'd encourage people to look at it.
Thank you. We will.
I've naturally been through that training. That's probably one of the more intense and fun trainings that firefighters can go through. It's, believe it or not, it's probably one of the safest trainings as well. But I applaud the kids for doing that, and Harold does run an awesome class down there. As most of you know, Harold was our fire chief here in town for, 10 years or so, maybe a little more than that. And his father before him, and his brother after him, and his boy now. So, yeah, no, it's a great program. It's a firefighter 1-2 program run by the school there in Sanford, and it's put out a lot of very good firefighters, and I'm glad that she's going through it too. If she continues with it, she'll have an awesome career, so.
Anybody else have any public comments? No? Okay, well, somebody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to go into executive session. MRSA 4056A-1, personal matter.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor? All opposed? Thank you for being so patient with us.
Make a motion, we come out of executive session, MRSA 4056A-1, personal matter at
7:23. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor? All opposed? All righty. I guess we've made a we came to a decision while we were in there, so I'll let you.
Yeah, so,
We technically didn't make a decision in there, we'll make the decision
Decision
out here.
yeah.
We talked about it.
So, what we've done is we had a discussion there, due to some of the, issues with, looking for more help, with people resigning, this and that. People have taken on some other duties to kind of, help us through this. So, we've discussed a couple raises, so I'll make a motion, we're gonna, to elevate the deputy town clerk from $16 an hour to $17 an hour, and the town administrator's assistant from $17 to $18 an hour.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? We have a secretary position that we have out right now, and this person could be somebody that hasn't been trained or anything like that, and the starting pay for that is between 17 and 18, and we have these two girls who have been here both for a few years, and it really wouldn't be fair either.
Yeah.
And they're taking on a lot of work right now to help us out where we don't have anybody downstairs.
And I think also too, the problem we're having is, the minimum wage is climbing.
Yep.
We're not, at 3%, we're not climbing fast enough, and for us to get, good help and keep our help,
Yep.
the unfortunate problem we have is we've been underpaying. So we've got to get up to that point where we can't have people leaving because, of a couple dollars an hour. And, for us to hire for the land use secretary, we advertise that position, and we feel that we're not gonna get the applicants for the money that, to make it fair to these guys, not to hire someone being paid more than people who already got here.
Right.
So we have to make it fair, and it was about time we.
And they're
started
well
getting-
worth it.
What's that?
I said they're both well worth it.
And they are well worth it, so.
We don't want to lose either one of them.
And this is a surprise to them, they don't know anything about this.
Nope.
All right, I guess we have announcements. Anybody want to read announcements?
Sure. Tomorrow night, Iron Tales renewal, liquor license renewal, that'll be a Zoom meeting at 6:30. On the 12th, there's a public hearing. That is on that's a public hearing for the salt use, right?
Right, and the school
Yeah.
budget and
Yeah,
the
school
salt.
budget and salt, yep.
Yep.
Okay, and that's on the 12th at 6 o'clock. There's a ZBA on the 13th. That's an in-person one. That is going to be at 5 o'clock. There's a capital improvement on the 14th at 4:30. There is a Board of Selectmen's meeting next week at 6. There's a planning board meeting and a proposed zoning ordinance public hearing via Zoom on the 15th at 6. On the 16th, Rec Committee at 5:30. On the 19th, Warrant and Finance at 6. On the 20th, that would be 4:20. I couldn't help it. That's the rescheduled marijuana committee
Yes.
meeting at 6. On the 21st, Selectmen's at 6, and on the 28th, Selectmen at 6. As everybody knows, I can only be serious so long,
It's been a long night.
and I hit it. So,
All right,
with that, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
moved and seconded. All in favor? Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming.